What's going on, guys? MDLP from the Battle Axe, the Strongman Gym in Miami, where strength is everything. Making a review video, a recap of my CrossFit experience yesterday. Now, let's go over a few things at the beginning so that we can get this situation started. First of all, I'm hydrating like crazy as I lost 1,000 pounds of water yesterday. I'll tell you a little bit about my experiences. I first did CrossFit about 4.5 years ago, so I'm trying to be a hipster and say I did it, but I never competed. I have been in competitions before. Obviously, I've had 6 Muay Thai fights, 4 strongman competitions, and 1 powerlifting meet. So, yes, I have experience with what it is to be, and 2 seasons of rugby, of course, but this is just it's a team sport, it's a little different. But so I'm experienced with competitions, but I had never done a CrossFit competition. I did this one. I was asked by a buddy of mine to do it in a co-ed division, which makes it RX rules, meaning, like, if some of you don't know, it's RX division, so they have certain movements and requirements that make my life much more miserable. So I was invited to that, and I did it for 2 reasons. Obviously, I had done it for charity and to accept the invite to do this. Obviously, that's all that kind of stuff. But I did a lot to prove, I guess the second reason was to prove to myself that I can do what I want whenever I want. Maybe not to the standards that you would consider really, really good, but that I'm still an athlete, despite the fact that, a lot of people think, well, and I like to play the part of being a fat man and I can't move and blah, blah, blah. But a lot of people think that strongman is just, this big, fat guys that can't move, and it's just about us just like doing like bicep curls and stones and pulling trucks all day. When in reality, a lot of powerlifters and strongmen are in incredible shape and incredible athletes. They just specify to their sport. So we don't really do cardiovascular or aerobic activities for very long. It's almost all anaerobic for the most part, so that we can maintain our muscle and not break down as much muscle or even joints just as much as possible. We try to condense it because that's what our sport demands. So, I went out there to prove a lot to myself, and it's one of those things where I like to get out of my comfort zone. I preach it all the time, and I live it all the time, so it was another reason why I wanted to go out there. It was a all-day experience. I got there as early as 6:30 and left like at 5:30, 6 o'clock, right? I don't know. It was there for a long time. It was rainy, and I have competed in, this will be my 6th performance competition, and 6 times it has rained because the gods are with me. If that's not a fucking sign from Odin, I don't know what is, and Thor. It's also trident weather, which is like what we call on our rugby team. It's great for us. It was also hot as hell because it would rain and then start boiling everywhere. So the first event was a long one. I did well. It adhered to my strength. It was an odd object carry with a jug of water, light, but it was fun. A lot of deadlifts, double unders, which have been good because I've been jump roping since I was a kid. The second one was a bodyweight exercise, which was absolutely the worst thing alive. It was like burpees, goblet squats, and box jumps. I'm 240 pounds, and I wanted to throw up all over my beard. It's also hot as hell. Then there was like what they call a floater WOD, which is one of these things that you kind of do whenever you want, but you have to do it. And it was a sprint with a sled pull sprint after, and I did pretty well. I felt good, I felt strong, I felt pretty powerful. And then the last one was like a mix between like dumbbell movements and chest to bars and a balance beam walk, which was tough. My muscles, when they pump up, they get big in the sense of they get full of blood, and I could not touch the bar to my chest eventually. It was just too damn difficult. But we gave it a good run. We didn't get last. I believe we got 9th out of 12. Hey, I'm okay with that. So again, a lot of people had asked me, how did you do? How do you feel? Would you consider doing it again? You can obviously place really, really high, blah, blah, blah. Would I consider doing it again? Not during any kind of strongman season. It's really, not that it set my training back, but I'm also at my heaviest. So no, maybe an off season, maybe once or twice a year for fun. I would never run an individual. I just don't feel like that's what it's made for. Maybe a team event would be kind of fun. How do I feel? I feel fine. It's not my first rodeo. I believe I've had harder Saturdays. as far as like muscle and joint fatigue, but by no means was this an easy day. I would not consider this a walk in the park and that kind of stuff. Um, I'm really flattered that I had a lot of people come up to me and maybe want to talk about joining up in the team in the future or considering more competitions. I was extremely flattered, definitely flattered, by people asking me if by telling me that it was cool to see me out there. That a lot of people gave me thanks. It was just humbled. I was really humbled in a lot of situations. Really cool. My hats off to everybody during the competitions. I saw a lot of big guys out there doing their best, little guys that are just general fucking mules out there just doing really, really well. And again, it is what it is in the sense that is its sport, and if you're good at it, it's good to see you guys do that. If I liked it, yeah, sure, I love any form of competition, but remember, I did that type of training for about 4 or 5 years when I was a fighter, so it doesn't appeal to me like it used to. When somebody asked me if I prefer or what's harder, Strongman or CrossFit, it's kind of like comparing Star Wars and Lord of the Rings. It's just I'm a dork, two different journeys, two types of courage. It's two type of dark waters you have to swim in. By no means do I think one is easier than the other. I think it just takes a different type of person for each. I feel like Strongman is somebody out there just looking for the epitome of what it is to meet death in the eye and fucking persevere. The kind of almost masochistic courage to continue to push your body to a human limit that is exceedingly dangerous as far as maximum weight and odd object that can kill you. While in CrossFit, it's a sub-maximal sport. You're pushing your body to a different type of limit where maybe you won't, die, but it feels like you're dying. It feels like you're living death. You're literally on the last brink of your breath and you're supposed to keep going. You're fucking dead. And they're like, okay, one more round. And you're like, oh, this is poop. So again, it's just like when I was training for fighting. It's the same kind of fatigue and, one more round, although I consider fighting the ultimate form of conditioning. It's that kind of drive. It was cool to feel that again. I haven't felt that in a very long time. I haven't been pushed aerobically like that in a pretty long time, especially during the second workout. And it was neat. It was neat to bounce back and, feel that feeling of pain. I really enjoyed it. So, I'd like to thank everybody for there. I am CrossFit. Michael Suna was there. My boy Rick always supported me. My boys Nick, Vinny, all my strong as fuck people that came by to see me. That was awesome. All my grunts and everybody. Thank you so much. That was really cool. Yeah, I think that was really important. My boy Bobby, that's been training with me from Miami. Nat, Nicole, all the Denise, my partner for sure. I'm not trying to say 1,000 thanks like I'm winning an Oscar, but it was really cool to see. It was a good support from the community, getting some pats in the back for being a fat guy out there. It's pretty cool. But now that being said, I welcome anyone and everyone to the Strongman world. I think it's important to break barriers, and I think it's important to go out of your comfort zone to compete. And I think it's important to go outside of your own world to be a better athlete. Especially if you've never done it before. So it's almost like I'm calling you out. So do it. Thank you very much. It's a long fucking video, but fuck it. Thank you and cheers.